The new truck just picked up in Pakistan will also be driven directly into the repair shop because they will transform the small trucks into tractors. If you want to live a good life, the trucks must be modified until they are old. You will know after you take a look at the Luozi style horse. The owner of the car is short of money and can't afford the Mercedes-Benz Axtos at all, so he spent his life savings to buy this 504.2 meters. After unloading the container at the port, he went directly to the truck repair shop of his cousin. Although he couldn't realize his dream of Mercedes-Benz, it is still possible to transform this small truck into a tractor. The chassis beam spacing of the small truck of the single overseas Chinese is twice as different. If you want to perfectly transform it into a tractor, you must first consider the load-bearing capacity of the chassis beam, the stress area of the seat. The master, who has been in the industry for 20 years, decided to add another side beam. If you want to really turn it into a large semi-trailer, you must use the canyon seat of the upper semi-trailer. The size of the beam is not at the same level at all. It is also the only way to force the installation. The general seat is installed in the front position of the rear axle. The anchor positions of the steel plate and the plate yellow do not match. The master can only cut the steel plate and cut a few cuts at the overlapping positions so that they will not affect each other during installation. Provide a little support force, and the side beams also avoid the collapse of the detachable edge. Then use the propeller side beams and the main beam to fix them together. At this time, the bottom plate that is bent by dismantling the steel plate can be installed. The position of the bottom plate and the side beam is carefully matched to avoid the need to adjust the bottom position later. Therefore, the added side beam is longer than the base, which gives the masters enough space for adjustment. After the position is correct, it can be drilled. Generally, the traction seat will be disassembled for maintenance later, so the master decided to fix it with bolts. This can avoid the difficulty of disassembly of the anchor nails in the later stage. In order to keep up with the fixing strength of the anchor nails, the master can only increase the number of bolts. In this way, the entire bottom plate is fixed. The master in the factory is preparing to use the steel plates of ship dismantling to build the traction seat. This is because these steel plates are enough, and the weight of the trailer will press on the seat. The only option is to use the ship dismantling steel plate. After cutting the shape of the plate with the scissor, the whole steel plate is stamped, and a decent plate is produced. At this time, the plate still looks the same. Although the traction seat looks like a piece of steel plate, you can see the parts at the bottom of the seat after turning it over. In simple terms, the traction seat is a lock that will firmly clamp the traction pin on the trailer. It will be pulled tighter and tighter during driving. After the reinforcement at the bottom is fixed, the master will also use the thick steel plates to cut out the lock hook. The thickness of the steel plate is enough to show the importance of the lock hook. After the cutting is completed, drilling is performed. After the hook clamps the traction pin, the pin will be firmly against the hook and the hook will not shake. This is also the reason why this paper structure has been used. Then the cut steel plate and bolts are assembled. The spring will fix the release handle. Then a traction saddle is simply built. Then the entire traction seat is sprayed with black anti-rust machine. After the paint is dry, it can be installed on the vehicle. Because the selected steel plate is too thick, the total length of the traction saddle is very heavy. A big man will check the fixing holes and fix the seat and the bottom with oversized bolts. So this brand new 4.2 meter truck is transformed into a tractor. What do you think of the skills of the Pakistani master?